a group of African-American women 25 years ago has grown into something much, much more. The Book Club Seattle's members come from all walks of life, and over the years, they have celebrated each other's successes and comforted one another in hard times. They have taken vacations together, they've been featured in authors' books, and they've even written their own collection of stories entitled Life Matters. Please welcome two members of the Book Club, Seattle, Harriet, Slye, and Sylvia Bushnell. It's good to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
So how long have you been in this book club the whole time?
Yes.
25 years
And
for
20
both of
for
you.
me.
And 20 for you. Talk to me a little bit about what it's given to your life.
I think, you know, for me, it's a camaraderie. A lot of us have known each other all our lives, and some of us are relatives, and some of us have gone to school together, and we've taken vacations. It's just been wonderful.
You have shared your lives
Yes.
in a familial sort of way through this book club, which to me fascinated me as a story because it's that wonderful third place, not just home and work, but another place where people can come together. What do you think you've gotten out of this relationship with these other women?
Sisterhood. You know, once a month.
My favorite thing.
Yeah, once a month I can depend on talking to my friends about things that I don't typically talk to with anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Here's a picture of your group. And everybody, look at the smiles. I mean, that looks like some women who are having a good time together. So you brought this wonderful quilt, and this quilt tells a great story. Give me the rundown on how this came to be.
Each of our stories in the book is represented by a block. So one of our, the sister of one of our authors actually is a quilter, and she put it all together for us.
So, for example, a picture like this. Tell me about this.
Courageous. That was a picture that my sister had for her story, and her story was freedom, and an African-American minister giving a sermon to the flock for the week, and that's kind
him.
of what we came up. Yeah,
That's him. So the
That's him.
stories in the book, I mean, did you have any idea when you started out a quarter of a century ago that you guys would be in people's books, you'd be writing books, this would all come kind of full circle?
No.
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 So what are the stories about that are in Life Matters?
Variety of stories of coming of age, stories of romance, love, stories, kind of adventures.
It's
Just a
real and real about
real.
all of you.
And real.
You guys have seen each other through some amazing highs and lows. Can you give me kind of a wrap up of the sorts of things you help each other through?
I was just talking to a member yesterday about her wedding picture. I was going through photos at the house, and I said, I came across your picture, and who's that strange lady? You know, we were just talking about, the wedding, and she says, yeah, a wedding, a divorce, and a kid in between. And we have been with her through that whole story.
Through everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is something, I mean, not that we don't love men to pieces, we do, but there is something so, I don't know even how to describe it, like a warm bath, the company of women who are understanding of one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have time to read with all this talking? I would
Well,
think I'd be for the talking.
Hope we find time.
Fine time.
Yes.
And in terms of, you know, obviously as a group of African American women, you have some particular issues and things that are to be talked about and history to be discovered. Has that played an important role in what you've read and what you've discussed?
Early on, we made a decision only to read books from authors of African descent. So, and we were also spurred on by reading a book one time that none of us really appreciated, we didn't like. So our informal leader, Edna Nunn, said, can we do better? And she really challenged us in the beginning. And that's how she started pulling teeth to get the stories out of us.
Right.
We do talk about how the books or the story itself relates to our lives. That's always prime in our minds, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to know each other and get to know yourself
Yes.
as you're reading those
Yes.
books.
Yes.
So did anybody have trouble coming up with the story for the book? Did everybody know what they wanted to write about? Was it hard to cull down out of a whole life which thing you wanted to choose?
All of the above.
All of those.
Yeah,
What
we
did you
did.
write about?
I wrote about women getting together after work, friends, kind of going out for a social evening, and things sometimes work out and sometimes they don't. So, and my sister and I wrote one together. Such a clever girl. And that's kind of a person taking advantage of elderly people, that kind of thing, and what becomes her, befalls her. So we had to think about what we wanted to write. It wasn't really that easy, and it didn't come that quick.
Right. What about you? What did you write?
In my 12-year-old voice, I wrote about taking the train ride by myself to Portland, because when I was a kid, Portland was better. It was better than Seattle. So I wrote about going down to
But
Portland.
now we know better, right?
Now we know better, yes. I went to Portland, stayed with family friends who I wanted to have adopt me because I like being spoiled when I went to Portland, because Portland's better. Like I said. So again, I tried to talk in my 12-year-old voice and just explain the train ride down.
It's just amazing. I mean, you guys are such an inspiration, the companionship, the fidelity to one another, and then for the creativity to come through in this book. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We also
Thank
have some
you.
other members of the book club here. Let's
Yes.
give you a round of applause, because we just love seeing women being great with other women. Still ahead, a Seattle auto dealership special approach to business. We'll talk about that after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What an interesting